Hello and welcome, PocketWatch here, and it's about time for another episode of Planetarian. So yeah, let's continue the story, and we're going to battle against the Fiddler Crab, and we'll see how it will go. But before this, I want to ask you, so let me know in the comments, what visual novel, like short visual novel, do you know and you would like me to read, actually, for the channel? Something really short that I can, like, take in just, like, for a few hours. Just like, you know, little side quest, basically, just like Planetarian, outside of my main long series. So, yeah, just let me know in the comments. I will check them and probably put some vote pool, including these, or the ones that, like, I feel like will be good. I will see. Anyway, the vote pool will probably happen anyway, regardless, for like next side story thing. And yeah, that's it. So let's just go to the episode and let's see how the fight will go. Oh, I did mess up. This is the same date. Okay, I'm sorry. My bad. I waved through the alleyways, coming to the edge of the buffer zone. I found 6-story building, those windows all been broken, and I walked up its floors. Yep, this is the correct one. The place was completely pillaged, perhaps by the hands of another junker. I entered the room at the top floor and took up position at the water-lodged window. The Fiddler Crab was still standing motionless at the rift in the quarantine wall, as if it were simply a watchdog. From here, I could easily see the gun turret glinting dully in the rain. You have probably one shot on this. Like, it will react immediately after you shoot. If it would stay fixed, then it would be that would not be unhittable. At the same time, that meant that I was also within the range of those machine guns. The only consolation was that I was in position well short of minimum allowable range of a ray gun. I cracked open the barrel of my grenade launcher. Inserted another cartridge. I had chosen a composite armor-piercing, directed blast AC dash grenade set with 10 meters proximity fuse. Is that a real thing? Like, AC I know, but DHESH? Is that the, like, real life thing, or this is just like make-up thing with like some other thing? Because HE is like real thing, but DSH I don't know. You can let me know in the comments actually. This will be able to penetrate the armor of the main cannon, no matter which angle it struck at. But once I fired, I would most likely be detected. Although I had 2 more epic cartridges left, I did not think it was likely that I would have a second chance if I did not manage to disable the Fiddler Crab with the first shot. Yeah, that's true, like you'll be probably massacred with these machine guns. I closed and cocked the grenade launcher, and then raised the long distance sight. I calculated the distance to my target and the ballistic substitute rate, and corrected the aim accordingly. This grenade launcher was equipped with neither tracer functionality nor the ballistic stabilizer. The stopping power of the cartridges and the construction of the gun stock itself were unharmed from designs of the last century. After all, the simpler an armament was, the easier it was to trust it. That's true. The simpler like machine is, the less likely it's going to fail. So I can agree actually on this. The more complicated machines are always like have like bigger chance of failure. I mean, maybe not always bigger chance of failure because like they're like, I guess it depends. But in general principle, yeah, the simpler machine, the less failure it can have. Less like parts that can fail you. That was the only rule of social discourse that the unceasing rain had imparted to me. Oh! Okay, we have actually first person here. Wow. Okay, this is actually pretty close. I lowered my head and braced the gun barrel against the window frame and carefully adjusted my aim. The rain was continuing to fall. The wind was intermittently and weakly blowing from left to right across the buffer zone. There was still no indicator of movement from my target. The wind kicked up. The muddy water to one side began to ripple, like the scales of a fish. I waited for the wind to die down, my fingers still tense on the trigger. And I suddenly realized that I was thirsty. Not even the first time, when I fought the Warmonger so long ago, I had felt so nervous. Before I could wonder why, I found myself thinking about her. She was probably standing, stock still, in the middle of that soaked sidewalk right now, and in accordance with my order. Even though I had brought her along with me, I still had not thought of what I was going to do with her. Yeah, that's true. And if you die here, then she's going to stay there forever, probably. Because you said to her that you stay there, and because my life depends on this. She will not move from there. It was just that I could picture what would happen to her if the other junker happened upon her later and harvested her. Yeah, she had probably a lot of parts that can be like manufactured, like, and yeah, in general, a lot of parts. They probably would just like disable her, or if she's like already disabled, just like take out the innards and like hands or something. A lot of like good parts. A charging apparatus would be expensive, but not so much that I could never procure it. While it would be difficult to update her software or replace her parts, it would possibly at least do some maintenance and minor adjustment for her. I could probably, yeah. For that matter, I might even possibly to produce a small projector for her. Oh, that's so sweet, I love it. Of course, an umbrella-like device with a hemispheric sphere would also be necessary for the projection. With those two things, we could travel from settlement to settlement, and with her commentary, we could show the people the starry sky. This is actually amazing. I want them to do that. What if I changed my profession? We might even be able to reach every place where people still live by the time I die. Wow, this is cool. He's going to become a manager. And in any case, I was sick and tired of being junker as well. Yeah, that's true. No wonder. I murmured, as I really liked my aim, which had by this point slandered totally askew. That was all just a pipe dream. I mean, it's a good dream. I like this dream, but yeah. Probably not gonna happen. I must have slipped off into those thoughts because of my mind, clouded with fear. They were all just proof that I was starting to think that I couldn't die here. Those thoughts didn't feel that bad though. The wind awakened and finally died down like the last faint breaths of a dying old man. The fiddler crab was still aiming its aim cannon out the rift of the wall, in the wall, waiting for the arrival of enemy mechs. I held my breath and squeezed the trigger. And? Did it hit? The warhead billowed white smoke as it flew and hit the rear of the fiddler crab's railgun. However, nothing happened. Well, shit. I could see the fiddler crab frame trembling violently, as if in anger. Oh. Oh, it didn't even shot. Okay, this is actually terrible. Well, fuck. I rolled to the side and concealed myself against the wall. I cracked open the barrel of my Grand Launcher and removed the empty cartridge. Having expanded due to the heat, the shell fell into the puddle and there made a hissing sound. I had 2 cartridges left now. Well, that's bad. Along with the metallic sound of machine guns firing, material from the ceiling began falling around me. The outer walls of the building were being cracked with machine gun fire. The eternity of time seems to pass before the first few shots died down. I sprinted and looked down the window, on the other end of the room. I quickly swirled my head and took stock of the situation. It's like checking for you, I guess, because it didn't find you yet. The fiddler crab stance had changed. It had locked its leg and connected the wheels on the outer sides of those legs to the ground. It was now entering evasive action. Oh fuck, this is bad. Okay, you... you cannot do this, I think. We need to like... Maybe we can lure this thing out and then move. Instead of like destroying it. When I leaned forward in order to take the aim again, it recommenced its machine gun barrage. The concrete around me, soaked with rain, was so riddled with holes that I was as useless as a sponge when shielding me. It was useless. If I stayed here, this room itself would soon fall prey to the storm of 30mm rounds. I flattened myself and scrambled towards the stairs inside the building. Okay. I didn't expect a misfire, actually. That's bad. Actually, you know, like I said, like maybe we can lure this out. So if I had to move out like from this like hole, then we can like sleep with Hoshino through it. The rain continued to fall. I tapped into the sidewalk with my head bowed and strained my ears past the sound of rain falling. The high-pitched whine of a low-noise emission motor, and the sound of sludge being ground under its well-maintained wheels. I think that effects are a bit too loud. I will just like lower them a bit, you know? Okay. Sounds that I have heard countless times before, but could by no means ever get used to hearing. My field of vision opened up. There was an abandoned Commodore train sitting in the middle of the two-lane railway line. I considered myself and took stock of the situation. Oh, is it moving towards you? That's bad. That's terrifying, actually. The fiddler crab was moving rapidly, its four legs tracking through the mud with ease. This is bad. That's when I thought that it was going to retreat dozens of meters to the side of the quarantine wall. It suddenly altered its course. Oh? It stubbornly refused to abandon the rift in the wall, which seems to consider its post. Okay. It seems that it had not recognized that I was a single infantryman. It was instead taking random evasive action against an unknown quantity of enemies. Okay, that's good. So he don't know what attacked him. Okay, that's at least good. A speed of approximately 25 km per hour. Quite slow, considering that it was running off internal power. I could tell that its sensors, mounted on the one side, was scanning for my presence. I already knew. The moment that my first shot failed to explode, I knew that I had lost the gamble. Had I ears that could listen into high-frequency radio communication, I would probably be hearing the fiddler crab requesting backup from any nearby units right now. Then, in 10 minutes at the soonest, the one human who still breathed in this town would cease to do so. In the midst of this unending rain, the order of this dead town would once again be frozen into place, and my fate would be sealed. I was suppressing the urge to allow a crazy smile to float to my lips. Right. What I had to do still had not changed. Yeah, we still need to like get rid of this because we cannot like move otherwise. Unless, as I said, you can somehow escape it. But yeah, it seems like it's kind of difficult actually situation, yeah. I had to silence that fiddler crab as soon as possible. Then had to retrieve her and slip past the quarantine wall. As I adjusted my grip on the gun, I recalled the words of the captain who commanded my training corps. Never stop moving. Yep, that's wise idea. That's a wise idea. If you stop and this thing like detects you, then you're basically screwed. If you move, then it can like maybe not predict your movement or miss. So yeah, good. Always angling towards the defensive perimeter and charge forward without fear. Easy to say and difficult to do. 2 AP rounds left. If at all possible, I would have to close it in first knock out the leg. Then I would have to aim for the armor top and destroy it without fail. Wow, you have like actually one shot on this. And you need to reload in between. How are you going to do this? I took a deep breath and then leapt into the rain. I ran. Having detected me, the fiddler crab slowed down and entered into a strafing sequence. The proximity sensor had painted me, and the linked turrets were swirling in my direction. I sprinted forward, kicked up splashes of mud. Okay, the muzzles of the fiddler crab can spit out light. I could see 3 points of red light scanning the ground before me, in lieu of tracer bullets. A line of thin water spouts kicked up before me, trapping me in a transparent cage. Wow, we almost died here. The moment I saw it, I changed my attack vector. After a short delay, the sound of machine gun fire rent asunder the sound of rain falling overhead. A storm of bullets passed through the area that I had stood in just a second ago. I had rectified its aim immediately. I confirmed out of the corner of my eye that the machine gun barrage had stopped for the second. I immediately changed my path even more acutely, planning to doubling my back shortly thereafter. It was old tactic, but the effective one. Okay, I wonder if he used this tactic before actually against like some fight, because that's like he had to fight something before, right? It's not like it's like his first fight ever. But clearly it's not his first fight. Actually, he mentioned that he fought the warmongers before. Yeah, okay. Well, it doesn't make it like any less dangerous. But I'm glad he have experience in this. Actually, and not dead. Because of it, I was able to give it the slip for the second time. At the edge of the buffer zone that stuck out like the beachhead, I came upon the largely intact shell of puffin heavy APC. I immediately slid down and used it as a cover. I would not have to worry about being hit even by the HE rounds from here. Are you sure? I'm pretty sure HE rounds can deal with you when you are under the car. I'm pretty sure they can. As long as I stayed closer the minimum allowable range, it would be no danger of being targetable by the fiddler crab's main armament, its lurk railgun. I quieted my heavy breathing. The shooting died down. It appeared that my opponent had enough sense to not waste ammunition needlessly. The range between the two of us was little over 200 meters. Now the hunter would become hunted. The fiddler crab began a rapid retreat. Oh, this is bad. It's thinking. It's going out of the range, so it can use the railgun. Holy shit, this is bad. It was established as a tactic to retreat and regroup in the case where one did not know the true strength of the one's enemy. The gunfire resumed once again. Stereo sounds echoed as the machine gun bullets ricocheted off the armor plating of the APC. It would be difficult to hit moving target with the relatively slow moving high explosive round from the grenade launcher. I would have no choice but to time the motion of my opponent and lead the shot accordingly. I knew that I was becoming agitated. The blood in my body ran cold and my senses were rapidly sharpening. I suddenly wondered, was she watching? Yeah, I wonder if she can see this and what she's thinking. He ordered her to stay, but what she would do? If his life is in danger, will she move? Actually? He said, don't move because my life is online. Maybe she understands that. I'm really like afraid of like her actually moving. I don't want her to move. I want to tell her that this was what hunting was all about. A ritual of continued bloodshed that mankind had enacted over and over again since the dawn of its history in order to survive. Even though we had once extended our reach into the vastness of space, nothing had really changed. Mankind had now created for itself game to hunt, and had equipped itself with fangs that it had not by design been given. The rain continued to fall. Intermittently shining traces lights around the nearby emplacements. The fiddler crab continues its evasive action. I angled my grenade launcher obliquely. I picture the position of the fiddler's crab 5 seconds from now on. I use my gun sight to target that area, as if I were sticking the push pea through it. Can you do it? Can you hit the leg? I muttered as I counted to 3. I pressed the trigger. Kaiser drew an arc of the white smoke in the air. The fiddler crab was in the very place I needed it to be in, as if it was choreographed, our actions. Okay, we got it. I had scored a direct hit on an unarmored root point, hit per joint on its right hind leg. After all, after several dreadfully tense seconds, a burst of flames bloomed on the fiddler's crab. Okay, we got a leg. Now we can somehow get closer to this, I guess. It cannot, like, probably move around good right now. With a thunderous roar, the fiddler crab came to the precious halt, as if it was going to fall forward. Its huge from inclined slowly. The ventral ammunition container fell from the fiddler crab like the rotten fruit with a crash and an explosion. Having lost one of his joints, the fiddler crab frame groaned in multi-layered cord. I may have let out a sound that was neither a cheer nor a scream at that point. Probably sighed. The fiddler crab was severely wounded, but it wasn't dead. Yeah, it still is a, like, threat, so... Its composite armor plates were trembling in anger, like a proud old knight. The main battery, which had fallen greatly askew, weird to life and started to track towards me. I watched this occurrence as if it were happening in a world far removed from mine. Oh shit! This thing just stopped caring about range and just fired the railgun. How are you alive? I guess it missed because it just, like, desperately attacked. My field of vision disappeared in a storm of pure white. The thunderous sound of metal grinding assaulted my eardrums. A delayed blast shockwave scattered raindrops everywhere in boisterous dance, similar to a storm at sea. The wind whipped about me, and my nose was filled with the smell of burning ozone. The next moment, my body flipped onto the mud, as if it had been thrown by the gigantic hand. A mud buzzing filled my ears. I was blinded and couldn't move my legs. Oh, this is bad. Are you going to die, actually? Is this the end? They felt as heavy as if they had been cast out of lead. I fumbled around and found that fragments of pebble had toppled over and now blanked my thighs. Oh, wow. That's bad. I twisted my body about and somehow managed to extract myself. Okay. Unlike my body, which wouldn't move dexterously at all, my head was swarming with activity. Just now, the fiddler crab had aimed in my direction and fired the main cannon. The slag veered sharply upwards and had struck the building instead of me. It was an attack pattern that couldn't have possibly existed, not against a singular infantryman at a point-blank range. Yeah. That's weird. That's weird from, like, programmistic, like, you know, like, they made this mechs to have, like, set of moves, and it, like, just moved unpredictably. It's like, I don't know, maybe these machines just, like, maybe he's connected to these warmongers and he's, like, thinking of himself as well. Maybe he's starting to get, like, will, basically, and, like, the warmongers, it wanted to, like, eradicate humans and stuff, you know, because if I'm correct, right, they started to be autonomous, so maybe he, like, tapped into their security systems or, like, joined them, and he got info how to move, basically, from them. Maybe? I tried to move out of the immediate vicinity. If it were running off internal power, it would take 25 seconds for the leg on an LE to be fully recharged. If I didn't move now, with the next shot, the building would collapse on top of me. As I made the retreat, I realized that I had no sensation in my right leg. Okay, this is terrible. We are just like immobilized entirely. It seems like it was broken. Oh god, this is the end of the journey? Or are you going to take a chance and start to shoot? Both my eyes and my feet now? I think you need to like shooting the crab is now your only chance, I think. This is like one desperate attack you have. You cannot escape right now. This is bad. As a dull pain began to creep up from my leg, I started to laugh. Even now, the rain still continues to fall, and now I finally understood the situation. So that thing was broken as well. Embraced in my arms of the undying grain, that mechanized monstrosity of the spearman was still dreaming. Yeah. So basically the rain broke the crab. So it's not like it tapped into like any other system. It's just like it's just broken. And so that's why it like moves unpredictably. Well, shit. Dreaming of the gentle city that it was charged to protect, and the mighty enemies that it was charged to destroy. I could hear the sound, reminiscent of the thunder clouds crackling. Its condensed coils were charging. Maybe it can see you? It shot again. For my part, I could hear the sound of things underfoot and the echoes received thereof. Okay, it didn't shoot you. It shoots somewhere else. That's good, I guess. It's keep missing you, so you're still alive. Maybe it can like die out of the battery before it hit you. That would be good and like lucky as hell. My eyes would not open, as if they had been run through with splinters. The hood of my waterproof cloak had been ripped off, and so I could feel fragments of concrete falling on me directly overhead. Okay, there's one problem though, yeah, true. The building may collapse on you, so letting him shoot however it wants is bad as well. Even if it like goes out of the battery, it's still like going to collapse the building on you. No, this was rain of drops of rain. The rain was simply continuing to fall, as if not a single thing had changed. I had absolutely no idea where I was. I was probably several meters from my starting point, but I didn't know anything other than that. One of my feet got snagged on something and I trembled on the ground. My grenade launcher rolled from my hands. The inside of my mouth was cut, and I could taste lukewarm blood spreading from within. It's charging again. That's terrible. The fiddler crab let out a shriek. I collapsed on the ground as the fragments of concrete and glass fell on my waterproof cloak like many tiny bullets. It had hit a building that was very close to me. All I could do was cover my head with my arms and endure it. A few large fragments hit me directly on my back. Oh no, are we going to be buried on the ground? Under the rubble? I could feel the warmth of blood soaking my undergarments and the convinces of my skin. Oh no. I think we're going to die here. What's going to happen to Hoshino then? Is she going to wait there like forever? I guess no. I guess she's saying this and not moving because of the order, but if we die then she will probably move and like go to our direction probably to try to save us. This is bad. So I too was breaking down in the amidst of the rain. There was no pain. The only thing that was incredibly difficult to breathe. To breathe. Yeah. Breath? To breath, yeah. Any more than this, and I wouldn't be able to take a single step further. Even my eyes were shut, it was easy to tell where the fiddler crab was just by the sound. The three remaining legs would not be strong enough to absorb the recoil of the lurk. Every single time it moved, it was destroying its own frame by itself. Every single time it moved, the outcry of warped metal and shredded carbon fiddler resonated dissonantly in the air. These sounds were nothing other than its death agony. Yeah, it's just shooting randomly, but this is bad because it can like basically collapse building on you. But as I said, it's possible that it will die off. I mutter as if someone else could hear my words. Just what had gone mad? Was it this battle mech, which also had lost itself in danger, that was burying everything around it, including the city that's supposed to protect with regard to the friend of all? Or was it this sarcophagus city, which had ceased to function so long ago, and in which now only lived the rain and the memories of those who once inhabited it? Or perhaps it was laughing, like a madman, eh? Beyond the rain-soaked wind, that out-of-border battle mech was laughing shrilly. All of the sounds were distorted and yet very distinctly audible. The fiddler crab stopped, and then assumed a firing stance. Even if its legs were broken, there was no way I would be able to get out of its sights now. Right, this time around it would definitely not miss its enemy. Okay, is Hoshino going to save us somehow? How can she actually save us? I have no idea. Like, I don't see like any way right now. I see literally no possibility of surviving this. That is, unless it had a silver reason or mercy left in it. I tried to open my eyes. It was to see for myself the shape of the death that I had been rewarded with. Okay, how does it look?